Hey, how you doing? I'm Seth.
I'm Will.
We're here today to talk about a new product from Sonos. This one is called the Sonos Ray. This is their new offering in their soundbars, and we had a chance to play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, we'll thank a couple of our YouTube subscribers and commenters. We had Harold. Harold said, thanks for doing this. You guys are a great team. So
Thank
he's
you.
talking about Will's video about Sonos versus Hios.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Thanks, Harold. Shout outs.
Yeah, got a guy named Kaznegnappge. I don't know, it's a bunch of letters starting with a K and ending with a J, but I think that's probably pretty close.
Shout outs to K.
Great informative video. He was talking about the DefTech BP9020, talking about pros and cons of their bipolar speakers. So
great company,
appreciate
great speaker.
A couple other negative comments that we're not going to comment on those, but all of them were people who had problems with Sonos and did not call Sonos. So
yeah, there's a little frustration in some of those comments.
happens. Yep.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Sonos. So this is their new Sonos soundbar, and it's meant to kind of hit a lower price point for somebody who might look at the Sonos Arc, which is a reference soundbar, $900, and then the Sonos Beam, which is $449. This thing's at $279. So we're going to go over the pros and cons. Well, one, the technology with this, but also the pros and cons of the Beam versus the Ray, because that's kind of the big question these days.
It is.
So this guy's got 4 drivers inside. You got 2 drivers of unspecified size, I'll mention that, and 2 tweeters of unspecified size. Sonos kind of does some stuff like Bose did for years and years, where Bose had good sounding stuff, but they hid the technology, because if somebody looked at the specs and it said 2-inch paper cone, somebody'd go, paying $2,000 for this? It's a 2-inch paper cone. It's the same stuff as this yellow stuff here. 7-watt powered subwoofer. 7 watts? What's going on here? So I think Sonos kind of does the same stuff. Doesn't matter necessarily what the specs are if it sounds good, right? So anyways, you got 2 and 2. Thank you. Video, we're a FedEx guy. We're videoing right now. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. This plays into our video. Feel free to walk across, Danny. We're having a good time here. There we go. Yep, it's all right. So you got 4 drivers, 2 drivers, 2 tweeters. You have 5 drivers in the Sonos Beam. You got 4 drivers in one. And it's a little bit larger cabinet as well. And that was one of the things that we did here. So when we had this guy hooked up, we compared to what we heard on the Sonos Beam, we noticed that there was a bit more fullness out of the Beam versus the Ray. Come on through, Danny, come on. We're having a good time around here. There we go. We aren't professionals at all. So that was one thing that we noticed. But we did notice that this was very clear, very detailed. That was great. Also, the Beam has what are called passive radiators. So when your driver moves back and forth, that air then gets ported through another driver. And that helps to give you a bit more fullness, where they have, on this guy, ports, open ports that are on the front. You can't see them, but open ports on the front there. The Beam claims to do Atmos. Atmos, you may know, is the new latest and greatest surround sound that gives a dimension of height. It's kind of hard to do that when you have no height speakers.
Yeah, they're using some type of virtualizer chipset in there, like Sony and LG's and the Samsung soundbars are all going towards the simulated virtualized Atmos.
Yep. And Atmos, when you get into their Arc, their step-up model, it's got some drivers that point up, so it actually gives you that sensation of height.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have that. And then also, if you are into ALEXA, this doesn't have a mic built in, where you do have it on the Beam. So if you're doing any sort of voice control or any of that kind of stuff, you can do it with the Beam. Can't do ALEXA with the Ray.
Yeah, if you don't want all the bells and whistles, you want good sound quality at a good price point, this is right up your alley.
Yep. One thing you can do, this is kind of cool, where imagine this is your TV. We've got some mounts by a company called Sonos, very close to Sonos, where this thing can mount right below, so that the vocals seem like they're coming right from your TV. If your TV pulls out, you can kind of angle that thing, and it's just pointing right toward the area. And we were really impressed with the sound of this. And a lot of today's TVs, you no longer have speakers on the TV that fire forward. The bezel is so thin on today's TVs that normally the speakers are on the back, so it's literally pointing sound behind you or straight down. So having something like this is going to be a huge step up when it comes to not having to say, hey, what'd the guy say? And say that 50 times during the TV show. Get yourself one of these. you may want to add on one of these, which we're going to talk about in another video here. Being that your sound is going to be a little thin and there's no way to get deep bass without having big drivers, you might want to add one of Sonos' subs to this, and they've got a new offering which we're going to show in a future video here called the Sub Mini, and the combination of highs and mids from that thing, bass from this guy or another model they got, give you great sound. Anything else we need to talk about and we missed on?
I think we got it, yeah. Price point, it's an awesome price, awesome sound, and you could mate the new future Sub Mini that we may or may not have a video for that you can watch and see what the capabilities are.
There we go. So thank you all. Thank you, Harold and Kazagrach, whatever your name was, and we'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe.
Have a good one.
Thank you.